It doesn't matter if you work in a childcare center, if you're an in-home provider, if you're a pre-K teacher, preschool teacher, kindergarten teacher, it doesn't matter because you still have to communicate with your parents, right? And so these are tips that will work in any of those scenarios. Meet the teacher night, back to school night, open house. Yes, open house. We call it that too. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I use. Home visits and open house night. Oh, good. Open house is very popular. Okay, maybe I'll call it that. Parent-teacher orientation. That's a good one, Helen. I like that. Kinder orientation, open house. Okay, so lots of different things. Okay, so here's the deal, especially for those of you who teach little kids. This might be the first time that this child that this parent has is in a formal school setting. So if that's the case, you know the parents, when they walk through the door, they're basically humming with nerves, right? They're like, oh my goodness, this is the real deal. We're getting close to the first day of school. And they have a million questions and they're just terrified, right? You know the look of a brand new parent. This is their first time with any kind of school setting. You can tell. And so what you want to do, especially with those brand new parents, you want to be able to answer all their questions before they can even say them. Because let me tell you, if you can answer their questions before they even ask them, you've amazed them. They become your biggest fans before the first day of school because they're like, how could she possibly know what I was thinking? And if you've been doing this for a while, you know the same questions that parents ask over and over and over again every single year. Beat them to the punch and answer their questions first. Now, so how do you do that? That's the number one question, especially if you're a new teacher or you haven't been keeping track of these questions over the years. How do you do that? So what I did was, based on my years of experience and all the questions that I have been asked over the years, I created a PowerPoint presentation template that you can use to fill in your own information. So they've already been made cute, because I always had a PowerPoint presentation, but let me tell you, it was not cute. It was white background with plain text and maybe a few Microsoft Office clip art images in there. It was not cute. And teachers like cute. And we also like to include our mascot, our school mascot, or something in that arena. So I went ahead and I prepared 16 PowerPoint presentations. Tom is going to drop a link to those in the comments. And what I did was I created a slide for each of the questions frequently asked that I get asked every single year over and over again. And you can put the answers in your own words to those questions into each template. And I've created 4 blank slides in that PowerPoint template for you. You can also, if you're used to using PowerPoint, you can duplicate slides too. So really, there's 4 blank ones, but it could be 100 blank ones for all, whatever purposes you want to use them for. So you can customize it for your school's guidelines. So for example, in the open house PowerPoint, it might say, these are the sections that I have inside each PowerPoint, and they're cute. I've got the owl theme, the bee, the dog, the panda, the bear, the fish, the frog, the ladybug, the eagle, the pirate, a Western one, because I'm from Texas, a tiger, Noah's Ark, koala bear, fish, starfish. I think that's all 16 of them. So anyone that you might want to use that matches your theme or whatever. But the school theme one is the most popular because it's the most generic. It's just a school theme, like alphabet, numbers, that kind of thing. So a school theme, if you don't have a theme or a mascot for your school or whatever, just a basic school one. So the sections, thanks Jamie, the sections are contact info. I've had lots of parents tell me on the first day of school when they show up to pick up their kid, like at 5 o'clock at night and school ended at 3, I didn't know how to call you and let you know I had a flat tire. I want to give them my information as much as possible. So contact info for me, the exact start time of school, like what is the official start time and what is the end time. And of course, that's going to differ for you than it did for me because we all work in different places. So you're going to want to personalize those. So they're templates. They have cute backgrounds and borders and pictures and the title text in a cute font. And then you can add in on the screen, and there's directions on how to do that if you're not familiar with PowerPoint. You can add in your own info. Pickup, how does pickup work? Where do I pick up my kid? What about after school care? Can you watch my kid until 9 o'clock at night? Let them know if there's after school care. What are your procedures for meals, your breakfast policy, your lunch policy? How do you handle money for these things? So many times on the first day of school before I started doing this, I'd be standing up there in front of the parents going, and school gets out at 3. No, get off of that chair. No, don't draw on the wall. And I'd get off track and I'd forget where I was. And then on the first day of school, I would have skipped the part about breakfast or lunch payment, and the kids would come in and go, here, teacher, plunk. And there was like 15 quarters dumped in my hand. What's this for, honey? I don't know. My mommy said to give it to you. And you're like, okay, is this lunch money? Is this money for uniforms, school supplies? I don't know. So, oh, thanks, Kim. Likes the koala theme. Renee says this is helpful. Yay. Hi, Diane. All right. So, do not give your cell number. Yeah, Jamie, that's a good idea. I love those apps like Remind, where you can contact parents without them knowing your phone number. Oh, sure. You can. We've always had a telephone in our classroom, so that's the number I give parents. I haven't given them my cell. Okay, where was I? I was talking about the PowerPoint templates. Oh, I know. I was talking about the different parts. The lunch money and the breakfast money. How to pay for it. If you're going to have any kind of weekly or daily folder or communication going home, you want to let them know how that works up front. So you're going to let them know how you're going to be communicating with them throughout the year. If you have any kind of reports that go home, whether they're progress reports or report cards, whatever you have, let them know when that happens, because they always want to know when that happens. So let them know right up front. If there's any type of dress code that you have, like if kids need to be wearing tennis shoes or gym shoes every day, or if they need to be wearing a uniform, I always worked in a uniform school, you're going to want to let them know about the dress code. Backpack suggestions, I always put this in here because there's always that kid who shows up on the first day. The kid is probably the smallest preschooler you've ever seen in your whole life, and the kid's dragging basically a suitcase on wheels. And it's bigger than the kid. And so I always do a few backpack suggestions, and I have a few that I hold up. So there's a thing about that in the PowerPoint. Transportation procedures. Transportation, if you work in a facility that transports children, this is an area where I've always spent so much time with parents, and it's where I get off track because they want to know, okay, what about if the bus doesn't do this or that, or da. Bus numbers, everything. Have your procedure up there on the screen. And if you have buses, I always give them the number to transportation, because you don't want to be getting phone calls on the first day of school, after school, asking you where their kid is when you put the kid on the bus, because you're just going to have to call the bus garage anyway. So I always give them the number to the bus garage and the name of the person to ask for if they have any concerns about the bus, because I don't know what time the bus is going to get to their house, and I don't know what time, I don't know anything about the bus. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know about buses. School supplies, if you have any kind of school supply policy, whether it's if they bring the supplies or there's a supply fee or supplies are provided, just let them know what it is up front. Supplies have always been a huge issue for me because parents will, bring in a ton of supplies, or they won't bring any supplies, or they'll bring in all kinds of things that are they're not really supplies. They're more like toys. Like the coolest, sparkliest, fanciest pencils in the whole world that are just going to distract every kid in the whole class, and they're going to fight over them, or, stuff like that. So I always want to let them know the supply procedure up front. Birthday policy. I always go over that at open house, because you know there's going to be a kid who has a birthday like on the second day of school, and the parent's going to send a sheet cake and punch, but no forks, plates, knives to cut the cake, nothing, napkins, nothing. So you want to have a birthday policy in place, and if you don't have birthdays at school, let them know that too, because if you don't, that kid who has the birthday on the second day of school is going to show up with a sheet cake. So let them know your policy up front. Let them know your classroom rules, your school rules, helping the teacher. They always ask me, a lot of parents will ask me, how can I help my child? What can I do to make my child, smarter or better, whatever. So you can let them know ways that they can help at home. So those are the areas that I cover in the PowerPoint templates. Yes, Jana's telling us about the Remind app. It's just a safe way for you to communicate with parents via text. Bus garage number. Yes, Melissa, so important. Don't call me, call the bus garage. Right. Jeanette, if you live in a small town and you feel comfortable giving out your cell phone, then that's your choice totally. In my situation, I usually had 44 kids, and I don't want to give my number out to 44 people. Yes. Hey, Donna, nice to see you. All right. Seesaw. Oh, that's a good one, Diane. I think somebody else recommended that app as well. Diane said that she uses, or her son's teacher uses the Seesaw app. So I have heard good things about that too. Thanks for sharing that, Diane. I appreciate that. I believe her blog is in Next Comes L. If I am wrong, let me know. I remember one time I forgot it and I felt so bad. Stacy's asking about Class Dojo. I have not used that, so somebody who has, let her know in the comments below a little bit more about it. Glacy says she's downloading Seesaw app. Which app is better, Remind or Dojo? I have not used Dojo, so I can't say. I like Remind. It's very simple and easy to use, not a lot of bells and whistles. Okay, so Marsha's getting me back on track. Thank you, Marsha. So what I do with this PowerPoint template is I have it ready to show the parents on a screen, because some parents are visual learners, right? And they need to see it. They can hear it too. They're auditory learners. Some parents are visual learners. But you can say it and show it as much as you want, but you want to have a physical reminder. So then I put that information in a handbook that matches the PowerPoint template. So the PowerPoint template obviously is, the kind that you show on your screen. You can hook your computer up to your projector, or you can actually, there's all kinds of fancy ways to do it now. But you can show it on the screen, and then I have matching handbooks, printable handbooks that you can customize. And now those are 8.5 by 11 and they're printable. Now you don't have to print them all. If you have a lot of kids like I did, you could totally send them to parents or put them on your classroom website or blog for them to look at. You don't have to print them if you don't want to. A lot of teachers do print them. And so those come in the same 16 themes. So you can have the template, PowerPoint template, and the handbook to match. And they come in those same owl, school, bee, frog, dog, ladybug, western, tiger, Noah's Ark, koala bear, fish, panda, eagle, starfish, pirate, western, all of those. They come in the same theme. But the handbook is black and white, because if you're going to be printing it, and you have, like I had 44 kids or more, that would be very expensive to print. So they're all in black and white, but they're editable just like the PowerPoint template. So you can go in and add that info, and you can be a little more detailed because it's going to be something that the parents are going to reference. It's not necessarily something they're going to be looking at on the screen. If you're showing a screen, you want to be really brief and to the point. And if you have a printable that you're going to give them, it can be longer and more in depth. So they're the exact same sections. So every section matches. One is in black and white. It's 8.5 by 11. You can customize it. The other is in color. You show it on the screen, so they go together. You don't have to buy them together, of course, but they go together. And if you're in the Teaching Tribe, you can go and download those in the resource vault right now. Pick your favorite. They're all there. Members of the Teaching Tribe, which is my membership site, have access to all the printables at Pre-K Pages 24/7 at their fingertips, as well as 2 monthly trainings with me with 2 certificates of attendance, and our Safe Haven community for asking and answering questions, and our super secret thing that we're going to reveal at the end today. It has something to do with the book study. Got to stay tuned. Shannon says her school has a tailgate for open house and meet the teacher. That sounds like fun. You can print slides with notes. Absolutely, you can do that. Rachel is watching on her phone and taking screenshots of all the links. Great idea. You're going to be the glowworms this year, says Janie. I don't know that I have a glowworm template, but the school template I think has a bookworm perhaps. Maria starts with 48 students. Good, Maria. We are on the same page. Crayon theme. Hey, Donna, in the school theme, there are little crayons in that one as well. Hey, Michelle, how do I get back to the link without going through all the texts? When this, that's a good question. When this broadcast is finished playing tonight, when I'm finished talking, then the links inside the comments will be more normal and you'll be able to scroll through them and click on them. But on some devices right now during live broadcast, you can't click and it's hard to scroll back. I heard that if you click, instead of watching it on the home page, if you click on the video and it opens that video onto a full page, then you can scroll through more of the comments. That's what one of my recent viewers told me. Bye, Kaylee. Yeah, this is probably a pretty boring one for Kaylee tonight. She's our little friend who watches. All right. So those are the printable handbooks. And so what I've done is I give those to the parents to give them something to walk out with. Because if you're talking to them and you're answering all their questions up front, right? And you're letting them know that you're reading their mind, right? But at the end, you want to give them something to take away that helps them feel good about leaving their baby with you and something to reference. Because if they forget something, you're giving them a lot of detailed info. You want them to have something printed that they can take with them. So you can do that, or you can give them a link. You could put it on your school website and use a QR code, and they could take a picture of the QR code, and it could take them to that handbook that you have. So you're going to be able to communicate effectively with them. Basically what you're doing is you're leveling the playing field at the beginning of the year. Everybody starts on the same page, because what used to happen before I had a Meet the Teacher open house, we'll call it open house. Before I had that, parents would come in and they would just ask me questions and I would try to give them the answers. And it was just like, there was no level. Everyone got different information. You see what I'm saying? And now when we all start off with a level playing field and everybody gets the same information, it makes everything so much easier. And now with the printable handbook, what helped was if you have a lot of coming and going in your classroom or a transient population, which is what I worked with, a lot of kids coming and going. So there would be that knock on the classroom door on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Mrs. Levin, you have a new student. Here she is. And here's her mom and her dad and her aunt and her uncle and her little sibling. And can you just tell them everything they need to know? I'll see you later. And I've got 22 other kids rolling around on the floor. That parent's not going to get the same first day experience that the other kids got. So I need to have something that I can give them. So that's what I use that printable handbook for. And it just puts parents at ease knowing that you've anticipated every single question that they could possibly think of. The only question that's not in there, and it's really sad if you even have to tell parents this, is can my kid have a cell phone? That's a true story. Parents these days of children that are 3 and 4 years old and 5 years old, Some of them give their kids a cell phone. And I've had parents ask if their kid can bring their phone to school. The answer, of course, is no. But you might want to prepare a slide for that in your presentation or your handbook. I know, mine never called from the office saying they were coming with a new student. Fifi wants to know if I'm going to have a workshop on classroom arrangement. Hey, Fifi, if you're in the teaching tribe, I sent out an email today. Let me know if you didn't get it. We are having an office hours on that very topic on July 7th. So check your email if you didn't get it. Let me know. Email me. Some parents like to volunteer in the classroom. Absolutely put that in your presentation. There's blank slides for that. Yep. Sarah's had a kid bring a cell phone to class. Absolutely. I'll tell you this story. If you've watched any of my previous broadcasts, you may have heard this story before, but bear with me. When I was working as a specialist, I was visiting a campus, and the teacher there told me the craziest story. It happens in her classroom, and a parent called the office frantically on the first day of school. Just frantic. I need to, my kid's not okay. My kid, they're not answering the phone. She was just frantic. And the secretary was like, well, the teacher's teaching. She can't talk to you right now. It's the first day of school. I'll let her know you called. No, says the mother. I can't get a hold of my kid. And the teacher was like, well, the teacher is teaching. She said the same thing again because, okay, maybe there was a communication issue or the cell phone dropped out. I don't know. And it turns out that the parent had given the child a cell phone and instructed the child to answer the cell phone when she called so that she could check on her. And was shocked when she found out that that was not a school policy. So yes, it happens. It happens. Caroline, Tom will give you a link to the teaching tribe in the comments below. Rose says she didn't get that email about classroom management. Rose, if you are a member of the teaching tribe, I send out emails every Monday to our members letting them know what's new in membership this week. And today I sent out an email about our next office hours topic. So email us at customercare@prekpages.com if you didn't get that email today and you're a member of the teaching tribe. All right. I know, Ava, can you believe it? Yeah, I agree. Yes, there's all kinds of stuff. You're welcome, Rose. Okay, so in the printable handbook, back to the printable handbook now, Tom will drop a link to that in the comments below with the 16 different themes. There's an example welcome letter to families. So the handbook is a little more formal. So it's got a printable welcome letter. You can use my template or customize it. So I've got a letter that I've written there to parents welcoming them to the classroom. This is great for those students who come in after the first day of school. It's got a back to school checklist. What I found with my parents was that I would go through all this information, and of course now they're on information overload, because think about it, they're stressed, and when you get stressed you get nervous and your brain does all this stuff, and you get overwhelmed, and now we're breaking up. If we're breaking up, just refresh your browser and we'll come right back. And they can't retain a lot of information when they're stressed. So you kind of want a synopsis, like a little checklist of everything that you talked about. This is like their action plan. Like, here's everything we talked about, but these are the steps you need to take to help. So what I've got a little checklist there. And whatever your checklist needs to say. Obviously, this is it's a customizable document, so you can make it whatever you want. But mine says, backpack, check, lunch money, check, whatever my kids need to be successful on the first day, you can create yours. So this is the action steps the parents need to take. In my case, it was always uniforms, check, backpack, check, lunch money, check, whatever they needed. for that first day of school. So there's a checklist in there that you can personalize. So it's 38 pages of frequently asked questions. You just type your own text in to personalize the document. I'm not taking custom requests right now because they are quite time consuming. So there's 16 of them to choose from. So I know somebody wanted a dolphin theme, but there is a starfish, and starfish do come from the ocean. They would be a great companion to a dolphin. So consider that. But there are a lot of the traditional school mascots, like a tiger and an eagle and a bear. And a dog for the bulldogs. I tried to do some of the traditional mascots in there. So make sure you check out the printable handbook that you can customize. And I've put my information in there so you can use it as an example, but customize it to meet your own needs, and the PowerPoint template as well. Susan asks, meet the teacher is with the child and adult. Would you let the adults watch the PowerPoint, while the teacher is interacting with the students? Yes, that's one tricky thing. We've done it a couple of different ways. It's a good question though, Susan. We've done it a couple of different ways. It is difficult if you're going to be showing this PowerPoint with kids in the room. So I try to have if they're going to be there, I try to have things out for them that are safe for both the kids that will be in my class and younger siblings. So these are pretty much things that they can't put in their mouth, break, eat, anything like that. I try to have things out like that, but you'll have the most success if you have what we've had before that worked really well was half the parents go into one room, and I do the presentation over there and the kids are over here, and then we all come together and meet and greet together. So we have somebody in the other room playing with the kids, singing, watching a movie, whatever it is you want to do. And then the parents are over here with me doing that little orientation piece. Now, it's not very long. I would say at the most you would want it to be, would be 20 minutes. But it's customizable. And the great thing about PowerPoint is you can delete a slide. So let's say you don't have lunch at school or breakfast at school. Delete. You don't need those 2 pages, but if you delete, make sure to save as, because you might be at a school someday that has breakfast and lunch and you might need those pages again. And you're going to be emailing me, Vanessa, I switched schools and now I need those breakfast and lunch slides that I deleted. So definitely customize that. So I hope that answers your question, Susan. But you could still use that printable one to give to them. Okay. Do you mail a letter to the child before school starts? Hey, Janie, watch my parent communication webinar. I did that webinar last fall with ESGI. So if you go to Pre-K Pages, or maybe Tom can drop a link to it, it's called The Secret Art of Parent Communication, and it's a free webinar that I did with ESGI, and I talk about some of those things in that webinar. Should open house be a separate event from Meet the Teacher night? Yeah, a lot of schools call that Meet the Teacher open house, and open house really, in my opinion, is more of a come and just look around the school. It's kind of more of a free form type of a thing, kind of see the school. It's not really a presentation. So I'd rather those to be 2 separate things. I think it's all about the terminology you're using. Michelle says hers is separate and it makes it easier. Debbie says that's how her school does it with everyone together, and it's challenging having the kids and parents. I agree. There's always challenges with all of this. Okay, so I have promised you that a couple of things. I promised you there was a surprise at the end. We're not quite at the end, but I thought I would go ahead and reveal the book study. Now, those of you who've been following me for a while may remember the years when we did online book studies every summer at Pre-K Pages for about 3 or 4 years. And those are still available for you to go and look at all the blog posts on those books that we've studied. One was Literacy Beginnings by Fountas and Pinnell. It's a pre-kindergarten handbook. We did a book study on that, and that's a textbook. It's a nice meaty textbook, so that's not light beach reading there. I took it on a plane one time and almost broke my back putting it in my backpack. And then we did Teaching in the Digital Age by Brian Perling, which is a wonderful resource about developmentally appropriate use of technology in the early childhood classroom. We did Jim Trelease's Read Aloud Handbook, and that's a phenomenal resource. And I don't know if we did another one or not. I can't remember off the top of my head. But this year, now last summer I didn't do it. My travel schedule, speaking and traveling schedule is crazy in the summer. But this year, one of our Teaching Tribe members, Marcia, had a great idea. Now that I have the membership site, Marcia thought maybe we could do a book study on, ta-da, my book. I don't know why I never thought of that. It's called A Fabulous First Year and Beyond, a practical guide for pre-K and kindergarten teachers. It's not just for new teachers. It's lots of tips and tricks to help you have a successful time in a preschool or pre-K classroom or kindergarten classroom, as the title implies. And that's me right there. You can find it on Amazon. Tom will drop a link in the comments. And basically, this book was created on questions posed by readers of the Pre-K Pages blog. That's how this book was composed, as well as all my years of experience in the classroom. And so I created this book in answer to all of those questions. And those questions that helped shape this book are the same questions I get every single year at Pre-K Pages at this time of the year. So this is the perfect book to read this summer. So you can get that on Amazon. We're going to be kicking off the book study on Monday, July 11th, here on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page. We're doing 2 chapters a week because the chapters are short. There's 25 of them. So this way it will take us less time. We're going to do chapters 1 and 2 here on Monday, July 11th at 7 p.m. during the regularly scheduled broadcast. Okay. And then afterwards, the discussion on each of the chapters will take place over in the Teaching Tribe. And at the end or the conclusion of the book study, a certificate of attendance for 8 hours will be given to those who participated in every chapter of the book study over in the Teaching Tribe. So you're welcome to come and join us for chapters 1 and 2. On Monday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. A lot of the Teaching Tribe members had already ordered this book. And again, thank you, Marcia, for that brilliant idea. I swear, I'm not paying her, but she might have to be on the payroll someday. So we're going to kick off the book study, Jeanette, on Monday, July 11th, here on the Facebook page for everybody. Anyone is welcome to join us. Best suited to teachers of preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten, children ages 3 to 5. And it's a fabulous first year and beyond, a practical guide for pre-K and kindergarten teachers. And so another reason I wrote this book was because so many of those like books about getting ready for your first year or getting ready for a new school year, they're written for teachers in grades, every grade, K through 12. They're just generic and watered down. And none of that stuff applied to my grade level. And I was always so frustrated because I was like, well, that would be great if my kids could read, or that would be great if, I didn't have to talk about, all these little things that you need like with little kids, like bus numbers or, how they're going to go home or whatever. So that's one of the reasons I created this book. It answers common questions that I get from teachers. Here's some of the questions that it answers. How do you introduce centers? That's a question I get all the time. Believe me, all the time. So I have a little script that I've laid out for you. How do you work your daily schedule? How do you organize student supplies, cubbies and backpacks? There's a chapter on Meet the Teacher. Imagine that. Room arrangement, establishing routines and procedures. What does the first day of school look like? That's a question I get a lot. Like, what would I do on the first day? Transitions, classroom management. There's one chapter on that. Fire and emergency drills. You would not think that you would need to have an entire chapter on that, but you do. Because that is a chapter they don't teach you about in teacher school. Recess, lunch and snack, parent conferences, English as a second language, dismissal, all kinds of things that I get asked all the time. Hey, Vicky says her book comes tomorrow. She can't wait to read it. That's so cool. Yes, Shannon said she had one of those books she had to read during student teaching and it didn't apply to pre-K. I know, isn't that frustrating, Shannon? Thank you. Stacy, this book study this year, the first 2 chapters of the book study will take place here on Facebook Live. And of course, I don't give certificates for these Facebook Live videos. They're kind of impromptu little chats where I interact back and forth with you, like we're at Starbucks, you know, just chatting and shooting the breeze. The Teaching Tribe, if you come over there and join the book study over there, you get an 8-hour certificate of attendance at the conclusion of the book study if you participate in the chapter discussions over there. And Tom will drop a link to the Teaching Tribe. The Teaching Tribe is my membership site, which offers you or any members 24/7 access to all my printables, 2 trainings a month with me, a safe haven community to ask and answer questions, as well as the book study. Creative writing at this broadcast, Mawish, is really for preschool teachers of pre-K, preschool, and kindergarten. And so we don't really do creative writing at this age level in the sense that you're talking about it. So that's not going to be a topic that we're going to talk about here. Let's see, I'm just trying to catch up. Okay, I think I'm caught up. All right. All right, guys. So that was the big surprise. Okay, I have another big surprise for you, but it's kind of only a halfway surprise because I can't say anything about it just yet. But we've received so many requests for help with nap time. And I think I've told you before, I am not the nap time whisperer at all. I have a little special surprise. I'm hoping that it works out, but I have a surprise guest expert coming on to talk about nap time. I hope. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed on this one. And if we can work it out, we will be sharing that broadcast with you sometime in the near future. It's somebody that a lot of you know and love. I think you're going to be happy about it. For chapters 1 and 2, you come here, Susan, right here to the Facebook page. That's right. Wonderful. Marcia says she needs nap time. Yes. And our next public webinar will be on Tuesday, July 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And the topic is Organize for Success, Tips and Tricks for Organizing Your Classroom. Now, members of the Teaching Tribe have already seen this, so you don't need to sign up for it. But if you're not a member of the Teaching Tribe, you're more than welcome to sign up for that. Registration's not open yet, though. It's a little too soon. So you're going to want to subscribe to emails so you can be notified as soon as registration opens up. And you can reserve your seat. So, nap time for teachers. I know, wouldn't that be great, Marcia? I don't think it would go over so well for some reason. I don't know. All right. So tonight we talked about how to set up a successful Meet the Teacher open house orientation night. And I just want to remind you all that, you know, I didn't talk about how cute the classroom looked or the decor in the classroom, because that is not important when it comes to Meet the Teacher night. It's not about what your room looks like. It's all about what comes out of your mouth. Honestly, the parents are not going to be, they're going to be so worried about leaving their baby with you in this strange school with this strange teacher. And we're going to refresh our browser if I'm coming in and out here. But they're so afraid of that. What comes out of your mouth is 100 or 200 times more important than what's on the walls in your classroom, or what's hanging from the ceiling, or what Target Dollar Spot goodies you spent your summer searching for. So as much as I love my chalkboard banner from the Target Dollar Spot, it's not going to help me be a better teacher, and it's not going to make open house Meet the Teacher orientation any better. So it's actually, don't worry about that stuff. Don't worry about what your room looks like. Worry about what comes out of your mouth. That's the most important thing to parents. That's what they're going to judge you on. I'm glad you like it, Gisela. Meeting the students and parents the day you were hired is so difficult, Maria. Yes. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Guys, I hope that you got some useful ideas tonight that you can use to help make the back to school or the first day of school better for you. Because when you're all starting on the same level playing field, you and the parents, it makes your year go so much more smoothly. And so you're really setting yourself up for success, just like we set the kids up for success in our classroom. We scaffold and we support. That's what you can do for yourself by using a well-prepared PowerPoint presentation and giving the parents that printable handbook to take away, whether they access it online or in their hands printed. And a lot of us, public speaking isn't something that we have to take in teacher school, right? Usually. Yeah, I know I didn't. And speaking in front of parents makes our palms sweat, gives us headaches. It keeps us up at night and gives us teacher mares, right? Teacher mares are like nightmares. You know that, right? Only they're for teachers. So definitely. All right. Hey, guys. All right, so I hope you got some good ideas that you can take back and use in your classroom and help calm your nerves over the summer. It's pretty much, according to Target, it's back to school season already. And the school mares have probably already started. So you're probably already having nightmares about things. I'm so glad that you like these, Daisha. I appreciate it. Lisa. Oh, I'm glad you like these broadcasts. Thank you so much. Oh, I forgot to tell you that we're going to be off Monday. Monday, July 4th here in the U.S. is our Independence Day. So we're going to be off on Monday and possibly Wednesday as well. I'm in the process of moving, so things are a little up in the air right now. So I'm not sure if I'll do Wednesday or not. It depends on how the unpacking goes. And I also might have that special guest here. I'm not sure. I'm so excited. It's somebody you all know and love. All right. Okay. Very helpful as usual. Yay. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Hilda. Delee is here. Hey, Delee, Teaching Tribe. Delee says, I used your handbook last year and it was so well received by my parents. It beat all the various things I tried to cover. I placed it in a folder as you suggested. It was great. Oh, thank you, Delee. That makes my day. I just appreciate that so much. Delee is a valuable member of the Teaching Tribe. She is a very nice lady over there in the Teaching Tribe. We have a lot of wonderful, supportive people over there. Marcia's one of our best friends over there in the Teaching Tribe. Huh. Oh, Stacy, that's awful. She says she goes back for her first staff meeting on this day in 1 month. Thank you. You too, Donna. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great night. And for those of you in the U.S., have a very happy 4th of July. And if you're just joining us, that's okay, because as soon as I'm done talking tonight, you can watch this broadcast again from the beginning. All right, guys, take care. Don't forget about our book study and the public webinar that's coming up. I will catch you all, not next week, but the week after, but maybe a surprise next week if I can get it ready. All right, guys. Bye. Watch the replay now. Bye, Vicki.